So we're fighting a battle where you have people saying they want change, they want the betterment, but they're making so much money off of this to where they'll just talk that talk, but they won't walk that walk.
Prison Stories 101. We got one of the original members that started this platform off, man. E Solid, man. Welcome.
Nice to have me again, man. I appreciate you having me again. You heard me?
Man, thank you, man. We've already done, your story as far as, what got you into prison, and now I just want to kind of jump right into it. But for the fans at home, man, go ahead and remind them, reintroduce yourself, let them know how much time you served and where.
Well, first, I always start off and say, the experience of imprisonment will undo a lifetime of learning. Human values will be suspended. Self-concepts will be challenged. And the most ugliest, abased, pathological side of human nature will surface. My name is Eric E. Solid Brown, and I did 9,125 days in Angola, the bloodiest prison in America, from 16 years old to 41, you heard me? And I'm alive and free now, baby.
Man, an incredible story in itself to do that much time. Let's start off like this, man. I like to reiterate. And before I ask this question, tell them what you went in for.
At 16 years old, detective snatched me up. They laid 6 photographs before me, and he said, just pick one of them out and we'll let you go since you're 16 years old. A Caucasian drug dealer was murdered and robbed. They laid 6 photographs of young black males before me and wanted me to just lie right on them. I flatly refused. So because my mother and father raised me with integrity and principles, they gave me life without parole plus 30 years. There was no murder weapon, no eyewitnesses, no DNA, no fingerprints, and two jurors found me not guilty. I still received life without parole plus 30 years, and it took me 9,125 days after studying my own case, studying law, filing my own shit to get back out here on solid ground.
At that age, you're a kid. And like you said, your mother and your father, and I'm assuming you're out, you got homeboys and people in your street, whether school or just out in the streets. Innately, what was in you to not touch one of those pictures and say, just to make it up, yeah, he did it, just to get you off?
It was just a natural inclination in me. I'm so thankful to have the mother and the father that I had, because my mother is considered a black nationalist, right? So coming up all through the house, like if we was go get a hot sausage sandwich, a pork chop sandwich, or something from the corner store, we couldn't go inside mom's house and eat that. We had to stay outside on the porch to eat that. You know what I'm saying? Mom, when you go in mom's house, she got a diagram of a pig, a diagram of it showing how long it takes for the pork to digest in your body, and et cetera, right?
Oh, that kind of diagram.
So, yeah, so I had that kind of mother growing up, right? So she allowed us to make our errors and do our, what we did, but she educated us. And my father, he was just raw with reality. You know what I'm saying? He was just raw and uncut. He was born in 1924. And so he was just raw and uncut. So the way they raised me was just raw. So, and they gave me principles. I'm still old school. I open doors for women. You know what I mean? I still, come off like that. I pump gas. Like, I'm not about to sit in the car and let the woman pump the gas. Like, that's just not me. I know society is different and stuff out here, but I'm just under the old law, and I'm gonna continue to exemplify that.
Did you have at the time you had an older brother? Was he in prison?
Two
older brothers.
That was in Angola. One escaped. They shot him in the back and killed him. My mama sued Angola prison for 19 years. That's how long it took for them to finally come with a settlement, which, was very disrespectful. But at the same time, we changed the law on how they deal with escapees. Yeah. And then I had a second brother, both brothers, biological brothers, and he passed away a few years before I gave the life sentence back and came home. So 2 of my biological brothers, my mother's and father's kids, passed away in prison.
All right, as we start this conversation, I'd like to get your thoughts. When they first, created this country, America, and this American dream, Manifest Destiny, and said, hey, we're going to have, break away from the British. They took it away from the Indians. They started this civilization, let's just say, as far as what America is. slavery was, of course, already in 400 years in. The Angola situation and the prison as an institution, from you having to spend your, most of your natural life in prison as a child, becoming a man technically in prison. What are your thoughts on the prison as an institution in America?
Well, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked me that, because that allows me to say what needs to be said and educate the people. First, we got to realize some of those Indians were black Indians. So all that stuff about we came from Africa and all that stuff, some of us was all black people was already here. We are the indigenous people of this land, right? We are the rightful owners of this land. They don't want us to know that. You have too many for-profit prisons in America for me to even consider taking them seriously about justice. Because if they was really concerned about justice on who killed the victim in my case, they wouldn't have laid 6 photographs of young African black males before me and asked me to just pick any one of them out and just say they did it and let me go, right? So people wouldn't even, then you were like, okay, well, what you trying to be tough? You trying to be hard? Nah, man, because when I got to Angola, you know how many dudes I ran across that was up there for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, some of them 50 years because somebody did that. Somebody just picked them out because the police told them to do it. They did it, and then 40, 50 years later, they come back and found out the DNA or some type of proof that those people didn't commit that crime and had to let them people go. So when you incentivize crime, when you have a for-profit prison and you incentivize crime, you perpetuate it. In Louisiana, they told for-profit prisons that if they open a for-profit prison in their state, that they will promise to keep their beds 85 to 90% capacity filled. How can you guarantee something like that if you're not infringing upon somebody's rights? Let's be honest. How can you guarantee that you will keep a jail filled for some people to come and do business with their prisons in there? And a lot of people, a lot of the rappers, a lot of these artists, a lot of these people are heavily invested in the prison industrial complex, man. So we're fighting a battle where you have people saying they want change, they want the betterment, but they're making so much money off of this to where they'll just talk that talk, but they won't walk that walk.
They say justice is blind, meaning...
Well, I'm about to get the bitch some glasses. Shout out to Willie D. You heard from the Ghetto Bar.
It seems like society would just like, hey, if there's a crime committed, we would like to see someone take the rap. Like you said, put 6 people in front of you, just pick somebody because they have to satisfy the need of the people.
Not to cut you off,
please.
But see, bro, that was I'm glad you brought that up too. Because, so what about the actual family of the victim that was victimized?